Ever imagine Sesame Street getting the Unsolved Mysteries treatment?
You know, it's funny you should say that.
Well, get ready, because today we're diving into a case involving missing trash and a grouch who vanishes without a trace.
It's wild, right? This episode really plays with our expectations of Sesame Street. We think sunshine and learning, right?
Exactly.
And then bam, someone disappears.
And not just anyone, we're talking Oscar the Grouch, the guy who literally lives in a trash can.
Yeah, talk about a mystery for the ages. To get into it, we've got to remember what Oscar's whole deal is, you know?
King of grumps. Content in his trash, that's our Oscar.
Exactly. So when this Unsolved Mysteries episode opens and his trash can is spotless, even Big Bird's like, whoa, that's weirdly clean.
Yeah, it's not like Oscar to suddenly discover a love of tidying up.
Right. It just screams that something happened, something really out of the ordinary. Like if he was just out for a stroll, there'd be at least a banana peel, right?
Wait, even the trash around his can is gone. I thought Elmo usually had a half-eaten cookie or something lying around there.
Oh, yeah, the episode makes a point of that. Elmo's totally surprised by the lack of, Oscar-ness of the whole area.
So we're talking next level clean then.
Exactly. And this is where those seemingly small details, things people might dismiss as unimportant, well, they start to really matter. Like Bert mentions hearing strange noises early that morning and seeing a truck he didn't recognize.
Okay, a truck.
And Ernie, being observant as always, he points out that even those trash cans behind Hooper's store were empty.
Hold on, even Hooper's was clean. The place practically runs on spilled juice boxes.
Right, it's unheard of. And that little detail, it's like what happens in those real-world investigations, you know? What seems totally trivial can end up blowing the case wide open.
So we're not just dealing with a missing grouch.
Yeah.
We're talking full-on trash heist. But who'd steal trash? And where'd they take it?
That's where things get really interesting. The episode, it then shows this trail of garbage leading away from Hooper's.
Okay.
But here's the catch. The trail just stops. Dead end.
Like mid-garbage pile.
Like something scooped it up mid-route. Vanish.
Okay, so we've got mountains of missing trash, a mysterious truck, a garbage trail that disappears into thin air.
It's like something out of a movie.
Right. And amidst all of this, there's Slimy.
Oscar's pet worm.
The very same. And the episode, it shows him circling Oscar's empty can. Totally distraught. Really gets to you, actually.
It's heartbreaking.
But could Slimy's behavior be a clue?
You know, it's interesting you should bring that up. Because this episode, it touches on something I find really fascinating about mysteries, even fictional ones. The role of animals as witnesses.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, they experience the world so differently than we do, right? Reacting on instinct, picking up on things we might miss entirely.
So Slimy might have actually seen something.
It's possible. I mean, worms are tiny. Maybe he slipped into some hidden corner and witnessed the whole thing. Or perhaps he just sensed something unusual. We don't have all the facts, obviously.
Of course, of course.
But to just dismiss Slimy's behavior as, a pet missing its owner, it feels like we'd be missing a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it adds another layer, that's for sure. Okay, but let's talk motives for a second. Who kidnaps Oscar the Grouch? Of all the residents on Sesame Street. And more importantly, why?
$1 million question, right? And the episode, it uses this question to kind of shift gears a bit. We go from those really specific details to this broader discussion, Like, it makes us confront the why of it all. Was this personal? Was Oscar targeted for some reason? Or was he just in the wrong place at the wrong time, caught up in something bigger?
And how do you even kidnap someone who lives in a trash can anyway? Do you just tip it over and run? Lure him out with a moldy pizza crust?
Right. It's those questions that make this mystery so compelling, I think, because it flips our expectations of what a kidnapping should even look like on its head.
Ooh. And there's that other detail I almost forgot. Grover, he mentions he hasn't seen any garbage trucks since Oscar vanished. Could that be a coincidence? Or is there something more there? We're talking about Sesame Street, where garbage trucks are as reliable as the sunrise.
Exactly. Their absence, it's notable. It points towards something being off-kilter. A disruption in the normal rhythm of things. And remember, even in a world like Sesame Street, those writers, they ground the narrative in elements we can relate to, right?
So, the missing garbage trucks. It's like a subtle hint that something bigger is going on, something beyond just one grumpy grouch going missing.
Now you're getting it. It's all about those little details, even on Sesame Street.
And this leads us to the real head-scratcher, right? Was Oscar actually taken against his will? Or did he choose to leave?
Ah, now that is the heart of the mystery. Because if he did leave on his own, What could make a grouch abandon his beloved trash and disappear without a trace?
It does make you wonder.
Right. And that's where the episode really transcends just a simple whodunit and becomes something more. It becomes a reflection on choice, identity, even the nature of happiness itself.
So where does that leave us? We've got this real head-scratcher, kidnapping, or was it something else?
It really makes you think, you know?
Because we've got all the classic signs of a possible kidnapping,
Yeah.
right? The trash, the truck, even Slimy acting so strangely.
Right, but then there's that other possibility, too.
That maybe Oscar actually chose to disappear.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes this episode so clever. It forces us to look beyond the obvious, even with a character like Oscar, you know?
You're saying even Oscar the Grouch has hidden depths?
What if his grumpiness, even his love of trash, what if it was all a front?
Okay, hold on. Are we saying Oscar secretly wanted to join the circus, become a poet or something?
Well, not necessarily those things, but, I mean, think about it. Even fictional characters, they evolve. Maybe Oscar just reached a point where that trash can, the thing that represented his discontent, maybe it didn't mean the same thing anymore.
So are we talking about a Grouch having an existential crisis?
Maybe. See, we tend to put people, even fictional ones, into these neat little boxes. But this episode, it reminds us that everyone, even a grouch, has layers. And sometimes maybe those layers, well, they long for something more than what they've got.
So does this episode actually tell us what happened to Oscar?
You know, it does, but not in the way you might expect. Instead of giving us answers, it just gives us more questions, which honestly is what makes it so great.
How so?
Because the best mysteries aren't always about finding the culprit or the missing person. Sometimes they're about trying to understand the complexities of experience, you know, whether it's human or a grouch.
So the takeaway here is, even on Sesame Street, things aren't always as they appear.
And that even Oscar the Grouch might just be ready for a change so big even his trash couldn't follow.
Wow. Who knew we'd uncover such profound truths while investigating a trash-loving grouch? That's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but it leaves us with this. If a grouch can vanish, what other mysteries are hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered?